Okay, good morning to my MEP clients. I am coming to you today, Thursday, November 17th, 2017, to share with you a new feature. Actually, it's not a new feature, it's always been there, but a pretty cool setup. If you are someone who uses Salesforce.com, uses Salesforce One, which is the mobile app, whether you're Android or iPhone, and if you have expenses or any object where your users need to attach a photo or a receipt to a record. There's lots of paid apps out there, but one of the things Able Cloud likes to do is try and make Salesforce do as many things as possible for the base licensing fee, even if you're getting the free 10 licenses. We want Salesforce to do as much as possible for you with as little code as possible and as little money. So something I set up today after 5 minutes based on a client who was using Expensify or another sort of expense app that was integrated with Salesforce. Part of the reason they selected it was because users could, from their phones, take a picture of the receipt and attach it to a record and submit an expense report, all lickety-split from Salesforce. So that app no longer integrates with Salesforce, and they didn't get any notice. So anyway, thank you for sharing that experience with me and making me look into this. So as you know, Salesforce.com is the platform that Able Cloud itself uses to run the entire company. So from leads off of our website, opportunity management, project management, or support contracts that many of you have with us, through to timesheets, expenses, and even invoicing. So I'm going to show you our production org, and I very purposely picked kind of a nebulous record to be on the screen because I don't want to disclose any proprietary information. But in case you're asking yourselves, why isn't Able Cloud on Lightning, which is Salesforce's new UI, we're still on Classic because if any of you are like us, we leverage an app called Conga Merge, and when you transition to Lightning, one of the major things that you have to do is all of your Conga templates need to be, they can't use reports anymore. So we built ours many years ago. They're tried and true. We love them. We don't know what we would do without Conga. But, oops, sorry about that. When you transition to Lightning, Conga can't access reports. They have to access what are called Conga queries. So we have to rebuild all of our templates as Conga queries, and then we'll transition to Lightning, in case you're wondering why we're a little behind. So what I want to show you today is a solution for attaching images, i.e. receipts, to expense records, if you're using that kind of object or setup, from your phone, just with what you have today, whether you're on Classic or Lightning. So let me show you a couple of things. First off, I have an expense object. So we'll just kind of, let me minimize that and bring up a Salesforce One simulator. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this before, but when I'm building Salesforce One or the mobile app for you, I can test it without loading it on my phone or having to worry about the unique login credentials for your org, because obviously I run Able Cloud on my phone. So regardless, I'm going to show you what is possible. Whoop. Oh, darn. I have a custom domain and I forgot about it. Bear with me for a quick second. I'm going to show you what's possible using files. So while I'm typing, I'm going to try and multitask. Salesforce has, and of course this is part of why you guys work with me, 4 different ways to manage documents. The documents object, which is really only used for those of us in marketing if you're building email templates or something like that. Notes and attachments, which most of us use today. Content or content libraries, those are going away. Long term, they're going away. And files. So files are available to all of us today, whether you're on Classic or Lightning. So just FYI. So this solution leverages files. So bear with me. I'm pulling up, in case you're wondering what all this stuff on your screen is, I am pulling up my LastPass app, and I don't know what I would do without it. So I highly encourage you to look at LastPass, LASTPASS, as a password saver app. I don't know what I would do without it. It's brilliant. So imagine your users are on the road. They just had dinner with a client, or they did whatever they did, and they need to take a picture of a receipt and attach it to an expense record. So in my org, this is Salesforce One, remember, I would go to a time expense report record, and this is probably looks somewhat familiar for those of you, the MEPs that I have set up to facilitate expense reporting. I use record type, so I'm going to select the expense record type. I'm going to select a random contract, Montana MEP. Thank you for volunteering, even though I know you didn't realize you were going to. I'm going to put a dollar expense against that support contract. And in case you're wondering what I just did, I have it set up in my org so that every timesheet, every expense, every project cost record has to hit an invoice, an open or a drafted invoice that has not already gone out to you, the client, that hasn't certainly been paid. And it ensures that all costs for our staff are going to be billed, so at the end of the day, it just makes sense. So I'm going to save this record, $1, and show you what I'm doing on this expense record now that's in Salesforce. So 01256 is the record, and this simulator is actually literally creating this record and my real production org, which is kind of cool. So you'll see this new icon for files down here. When I click on that icon from my Salesforce One mobile app, again, whether I'm on Android or iPhone, it will say, and even though this is a simulator, so you're not seeing it actually say it, but on my phone it says, do you want to access your camera and take a picture, access your camera load or roll or whatever it's called, to access a picture that you've already taken. I can take that picture, save it, and it will attach the image to my record. So I'm going to revert back to Salesforce and show you what that looks like. So earlier today, this morning, I tested this on my phone. This was the dollar. I did it earlier, so it's not the exact same timestamp. But I created the record with my phone, took a picture with my phone, and here is the image. So I took a picture of my coffee cup, but this could be a receipt. And so if you're thinking about how do I get my users to use Salesforce, one of the things we pride ourselves on, like we said earlier, is making sure you're making Salesforce do everything it possibly can for the money that you've put into this and the money that you pay Able Cloud. Thank you very much. But we also want users we want to make their lives easier so they can do whatever their job is, whatever their responsibility is. So I think this is one of those ways where we're just leveraging what's already available to you. We're just being smart about it. So if for those of you that are comfortable going into setup and adding this kind of stuff to your page layout, I'm going to show you now how to do that. So we would go into setup, and you would go to the custom object that your expense is associated with. I happen to have a time/expense object that is tied to projects, and I use the record types as you might recall from when I was on the mobile simulator. Every record type has its own page layout. So this is the page layout for expense. And I'm going to show you where you would put that files button that would show up on your mobile phone. How would I do that? How would I make sure that that's visible to my users? So I'm on the page layout for that object. And if you haven't done so before, this is frankly one of the things that frustrates me about Salesforce greatly. As you know, I love it, but I hate it as well. There's lots of things Salesforce could be doing better. This is one of them. Under the section Salesforce Mobile and Lightning Experience Actions. Now, I've already edited mine, so you'll see that I can see all these buttons. If you don't see all these buttons, you probably have a wrench over here on the right hand side. Click on the wrench and you'll get the same thing here that I have. And what you need to do up here in this section is you'll see this fields, buttons, quick actions, mobile, and lightning actions. You want to click on that. And these are all the buttons that we have available to us. Now, on a tangent, these buttons, this is a smash up of two different kinds of buttons for two very different applications. The first application being Salesforce One, the mobile, the second being your Lightning experience, which is really your more traditional experience from when you're logged in on a laptop or an iPad or a desktop. But you're accessing Salesforce through a web browser, be it Chrome or Safari, something like that. So unfortunately, all these buttons, you don't know which one's for Salesforce One and which one is for Lightning. So shame on you, Salesforce, because it makes our lives difficult. But the one that you want is the quick action file. So I already have mine down here. I made it the first button, and that's what you saw in Salesforce One. So that's what you want to see there is file. You always got to save it. And when we do, I'm going to go back to home and access that record. I think it was this one. Yeah. When you do, you don't see the file button here because A, I'm not in Lightning yet. But B, I'm also not in the Salesforce One simulator. But I do see the files related list. So what you can do here is when, say, a file is attached or a new expense record is created, a workflow could go to finance that says, here's an expense ready for reimbursement. Something like that. So anyway, I hope this helps. And if you have any questions, you know, you can always call Able Cloud, 585-739-5251. And if you're actually watching this before Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving.